The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome live from Penticton. You're listening to Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks reporter with Daily Hive Vancouver. And at the first day of camp here, some things change and some things stay exactly the same. Let's get into it all, including the new, possibly old look Canucks top line, other things that we can take away from line combinations, quotes from Foot, quotes from Demko, lots of interesting stuff going on today at training camp. Kyle, you're watching from beautiful South Van today. What was the thing that caught your eye most from Canucks training camp from what you saw?
Man, good question. Two things, and maybe we'll get to the first thing during the second segment. But that's Thatcher Demko, man. Seems happy, seems healthy, and put an emphasis on how he wants to be the leader or a leader on the Vancouver Canucks. And how many times did we say it last year? The Canucks not only missed Demko on the ice, they definitely missed him off the ice when all the bullshit was happening. But let's just start here, man. Elias Pettersson. I saw the tweets, but I didn't see the video. All you reporters had your phones in your pocket, probably doing your job. But hey, we would have liked to see the emphasis that Elias Pettersson put forward when his first shot on net in training camp supposedly went bar down. I saw the tweets. That's the statement. You were there. Can you confirm that that's how Elias Pettersson started? I'm not going to say training camp. I'm going to say his resurgence in the NHL.
Woo! Yeah, his resurgence, man. And Foot had a really interesting quote about that today. But yes, I can confirm Pettersson went bar down, baby, for his first shot at training camp, setting the season off on the right tone. And yeah, I mean, the players had barely hit the ice. So, I kept trying to take a video of it after the fact, like, okay, when's he going to go bar down next? And he kept missing or, just scoring kind of greasy goals. But yeah, he did go bar down with his very first shot of the season. I thought Adam Foote had something really interesting to say about Elias Pettersson. And basically it was that, he loved his practice today. He thinks he's evolving into a leader, but he also said that it was probably his best practice in the last 12 months. Hey, we're tuning a new leaf, man. We're in the 2025-26 season. Let's go. A new and improved Elias Pettersson. Hopefully it's not because the bar was low last year, but yeah, we all know it was a PD's finest moment. But hey, at least Pettersson's best practice in 12 months. If that's your one takeaway from today, that's okay, man.
Yeah, man. And I mean, again, you were there, and now we're hearing that. I saw the interview that he did in front of the media too. Him and Farhan, man, there's some beef there. There's some beef there, okay? All that being said, he definitely, I don't want to say seems refreshed, because he's still so, like, it's either like borderline stoic or borderline like he just hates doing the media thing. But there's like an aura about him. Like there's a confidence that I'm feeling. And, if Adam Foote is saying, boom, bam, this was his best practice in 12 months. I don't think he's saying that if Pettersson comes to camp out of shape. He said the whole 6 pound thing, or the 6 kilogram thing, 13 pounds of weight gain, boom, bam. Now he's doing his thing on the ice. And again, you were there. So again, I know we want to talk about the lineups and him and DeBrusk and Boeser, but specifically speaking, I know this may be overdoing it, but I'm assuming that you had your eyes on the prize. Okay. You were watching Pettersson a lot, and you watched him last year at practice too, and last year in some games. Like, did you just notice anything? Like, effort? Was he one of the hardest working players on the ice? Be honest. I actually want to know.
I'm going to preface it by saying this, and I think NHL training camp can be a silly season for sure. Like, we're one day into camp, the Canucks and Pettersson's group is out there for like a 45 to 50 minute skate. So it is hard to make sweeping takeaways, and anyone making sweeping takeaways, they're practicing silly season. Now, that being said, Pettersson had a couple moments. There was a lot of breakout drills today, lots of quick skates up and down the ice. There were a lot of guys standing around for times, but when the guys were skating, they were skating hard. And Pettersson did look like he had some burst in his step today, which was really nice to see. A couple of times he's flying down the ice, and I'm going, okay, that seems to be like the step that PD had a couple of seasons ago. Now we'll see if this can hold up, but again, I would say it was the first good day of camp for Pettersson. You ask for Hology, he might not say the same thing for some testy moments there, but yeah, in general, Pettersson does look good, goes bar down in the first shot, and gets paired with Jake DeBrusk and Brock Boeser on the top line. Now, I'm not going to lie, I'm not in love with that combination because the everydayers know here on Locked On Canucks, I've said that before. I do feel like there needs to be a guy on that line who really has some speed or is willing to go in the corners. And DeBrusk theoretically is that guy, but he wasn't that guy last season. Kyle, what were your thoughts about seeing DeBrusk, Boeser, and Pettersson on the same line? And I think it's a valid thing to bring up because last season we saw Miller, Heinen, and Boeser start on the same line from day one of camp, and they started the season together. So I do think there's a good chance you see DeBrusk, Boeser, and Pettersson together on opening night for the Canucks.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, you're putting together what, like your three highest producing forwards on the same line, like you're quote unquote stacking it up, and it may not be saying much because it's DeBrusk, Boeser, and Elias Pettersson, but it's DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, and Boeser. Like at their peak, we saw what DeBrusk did last year. Like he's got a career high in goals, but at their peak, Pettersson and Boeser ideally could be that 1-2 punch and could be an offensive force. We've seen Boeser score 40 goals. We've seen him be on pace for 30 multiple years. He signed this new deal. He's motivated. Now he's a leader. I think he's going to be accountable. And, the alien, right? Like Elias Pettersson, if he's at full potential, it does, in video game terms, have a chance to be the line for the Vancouver Canucks. But stylistically, I understand why there's some doubts, right? Because, the speed or who's going to go in the corner. And I think that's not an overstatement nor an understatement. It's just what it is. That being said, Trevor, close your eyes, and Canucks fans, close your eyes. Boeser and Pettersson at their best. Like, let's say they play at their best, right? We've seen Pettersson be cerebral. We've seen it to be exciting. We've seen him be the playmaker and the goal scorer. We see him do everything. Again, we talk about the trickle-down effect that happens when Pettersson is that guy, right? Now think of Boeser being as good as he was in 23-24, two-way phenomenon. You brought up, some guy, you brought up like board battles. Who's going to win the board battles? Who's going to retrieve the pucks? Brock Boeser can do that. So at their best, Trevor, do you think it could work? Like, let's forget about last year, but at their best, do you think it could work?
I think it can work. I think my hesitancy is Boeser and Petey haven't shown it in quite some time, right?
Yeah.
It's been, 2018-19, Pettersson's rookie season. They were electric. Of course, the Lotta line in 19-20. And then we haven't really seen it. Like, Kyle, in 5 years, it's been a long time. These guys were young kids when they were tearing it up together. So it's been some time since they've shown some chemistry, but they have done it before. And theoretically, they're in their prime. So I think if Pettersson's got his speed back, it absolutely has a chance of working out.
Yeah.
And with DeBrusk, I mean, look, DeBrusk, had some quotes today just being very telling about his time with Pettersson last year. I have one of the quotes right here. He said he learned a lot playing with Petey last year, or I learned a lot playing with Petey last year, just in terms of how he wants to play the game, how he thinks the game, and where he is on the ice positionally. I think that was something that took a little longer than I would like to admit for me to figure out.
I don't know though. Like, did he really play with Pettersson last year? I know he
DeBrusk?
did. No, I know he did, but that wasn't Pettersson. Like, for lack of a better word,
I see what you did there, Kyle.
He was depressed on the ice. Like, that's not really him.
Elias Pettersson last year. And now hopefully the alien is back, baby. And then hopefully it is a new Pettersson that DeBrusk is playing with. Because look, DeBrusk spent almost 2/3 of his even strength minutes last year playing with Elias Pettersson, and most of it was not good. Yeah. So again, I think there's some hesitancy about having these guys together, but can it work? It can absolutely work. Of course, it's going to be on Pettersson to, carry that momentum from day one, and his coach raving about him having the best practice in 12 months, carrying that forward here into preseason games and regular season.
Now I will say this, because I think it will happen, because I feel as if the dude deserves it. And that's Kiefer Sherwood seeing some top six time during like this 2-week sprint to the season, or like this 3-week sprint to the season. And I wonder when that happens, like there's obviously going to be a shuffling of the decks. And it's similar to what Dan Jardine said in the comments right here, one left the comments. We'll read a lot more towards the end of the episode, but he's saying, I prefer Hoglander, Pettersson, and Boeser. Dude, I prefer Kiefer Sherwood, Elias Pettersson, or Brock Boeser, or Jake DeBrusk, just because of the tenacity, but also because I feel as if stylistically and with the eye test, Sherwood and Pettersson had way more chemistry than Jake DeBrusk and Elias Pettersson. And that's not saying much because, again, Pettersson was invisible. This guy's a 50-point scorer, just sad, didn't give up, just took everything too personal, was not a pro last year. So it's hard to really critique, any sort of chemistry that he did have. But I just remember there's moments in like November where I Kiefer Sherwood doing most of the work when it, comes to me bragging about the chemistry that they had, but they had some, and I could see something like that work.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something there. And for the everydayers, they know this, but I'm going to bring it up again. I think the two combinations that I like best with Pettersson is Hoglander, Boeser, and Petey. Hoglander is a guy that goes in the corners and makes things happen. If it's not them, I'd probably rather see it with Kane, Garland, and Pettersson, right? Garland is a guy that's willing to go in the corner. So is Kane. Garland, every time he's played with Pettersson, they've had success together. So those are probably the lines that I want to see. But here I was last year. I remember, Kyle, this time last year, I was thinking I wanted to see Pettersson and Boeser together. And then it never really happened. And when it did happen again, it wasn't the same Petey.
Yeah. Can I say a couple more things before we, shy away from talking about DeBrusk and Boeser and get to the break? Like, and this might, I guess this does have, something to do with chemistry, but man, oh man, does this team again, and we heard Demko talk about it, which we'll get to in a couple minutes. Like we need Boeser and DeBrusk to be phenomenal leaders for this team.
Absolutely.
And be guys that can find solutions, whether it be in the room, which I doubt there will be like locker room problems this year, to be honest. Like I feel like that stuff's gone away, but just even finding solutions when it comes to finding your mojo as a player and an individual, but again, a line in general, and just being able to say the right things to bust out of slumps. And again, we've talked about Boeser being that guy. I really want to dive deeply and again, you're there. And I don't know if you can go to the dollar store and buy some Pokemon cards, but maybe you can talk to Jake DeBrusk on the low to the side, give him some Pokemon cards and get some insight. Cause I feel like we're not talking enough about him potentially being a way bigger leader for this team. And I know DeBrusk is just Jake DeBrusk, but he did sign a 7-year deal to stick with this team and be a big part of this team in the long run. And this guy was a longtime Boston Bruin. He was around some of the best leaders in hockey. And again, this team needs, especially if you're playing in the top six, and feasting on minutes as a forward on this team. Like we need some of those guys to be alpha-like, and I kind of want to see that from Jake DeBrusk.
100%. And honestly, he's got the personality to be one of those guys, right? He's certainly not shy in front of a camera, and I imagine he's not shy in that locker room either. Okay, on the other side, Kyle, let's empty the notebook. I got a few things I want to mention, including DeBrusk, his leadership, his relationship with teammates, more on Adam Foote, Brock Boeser, Vitaly Kravtsov, and more on the other side here on Locked On Canucks. Man, oh man, my balls are tingling, baby, because I'm here in beautiful Penticton. NHL season is around the corner, and you can get in on the action, baby, by going and checking out FanDuel, okay? Because right now, FanDuel, they got a good deal for new customers, and if that's you, you can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Man, oh man, a big NFL guy here. I know a couple of the media guys are going to go watch Thursday Night Football, but I don't know why. The Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, I don't care what the spread is. I'd be smashing it for the Bills all day long, okay? But whatever you're betting on, NFL, NHL, maybe even lawn bowling, you can check it all out on FanDuel. So, are you ready to play? If so, go check out the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet today.
Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks, Trevor Beggs, second best dad in the world. Probably like the 27th best reporter for the Vancouver Canucks. No, yeah, it's an honest program here, Trevor. I know you're smiling. I'm smiling too. sometimes are crack jokes, but we're humble people here, Trevor, right? We're humble here.
True. We are.
Well,
I'm laughing because I don't even know if there's 27 people there today. So
one step at a time. That being said, Trevor begged, about to, link up with the people, link up with his colleagues, have a couple brewskis, and Trevor, you can put on a show right here, man. You could make this could be the start of your movie. So, when there's a documentary about you, and this is like a pivotal moment in your life, it could be because you chugged the most beers in front of your colleagues.
After the Trailer Park Boys were in town recently, and rest in peace, Jim Leahy, I'm thinking of chugging back the vodka and be like, "You want to see a little Leahy show?" It could happen, man. It could happen.
You go and do that. Make us proud. Let's get to some comments before we talk more about Thatcher Demko here on Locked On Canucks. Calder Kid Petey saying, "We got your backpack, Z." Again, dude, I think you're turning into a lot of people's favorite reporter, which is a beautiful thing. And I got this comment from Greener, and I want more people to do this because, again, it's fun season. Give us your line predictions. I know we did this a couple months ago, but now it's the real deal. Greener wants Kane to play with Pettersson and Boeser, DeBrusk to play with Chytil and Garland, Höglander to play with Atu Ratu and Kiefer Sherwood, and Drew O'Connor, Dylan O'Connor, Kevin O'Connor. What's this guy's name again? Teddy Bluegren.
Lyle O'Connell. What?
Linus Carlson to play together. Yeah, I know this is bad podcasting, but I completely forgot that we had Kevin O'Connor on our team. I did, honestly. Trevor, Demko, yeah, give me 1 or 2 more minutes. But how did Chytil look? Because that's a big deal to us too. I mean, I feel as if this guy was itching to get back on the ice with his boys and get closer to playing real games. Yeah, how did Chytil look?
Yeah, I thought Chytil looked good out there. I'll be completely honest. I saw the first half of Group B, and then I had to go do media. But I thought Chytil looked good out there. I thought he showed the same burst that he showed last year. I mean, it wasn't a guy that really stood out to me other than the fact that he looks fast. He looked like one of the faster guys on the ice, in my opinion. So, and apparently he's been cleared in terms of his concussion since basically around the end of last season. Found it interesting that Lekkerimäki is getting a shot on that line. I mean, I threw out the video before camp started that I thought maybe Kane, Garland, and Chytil will get a look together as, the Canucks rolled out a potential line 1 in Group A. I thought they might roll a potential line 2 in Group B, but looks like Lekkerimäki's getting a shot there. But in terms of Filip Chytil, I mean, it's interesting. The Canucks management, even Adam Foch asked about him today. No one's really going out of their way to pump this guy's tires, even though he's arguably one of the most important Canucks on the team. So I find that interesting. But just watching the guy, he's a quick guy. I think Adam Foote had comments today about, Chytil, obviously carried the puck in by himself a lot last year. Foote said he wants him to try to carry in the puck with 3 guys, 3 guys going in at once. And he's hoping that'll eliminate some of the plays that Chytil's gotten injured on in the past. So we'll see if that works or not.
Speaking of eliminating one aspect of Chytil's game, let's get to this comment because it's making me think. And this one comes from Bobby Bluger. I gotta find it. Boom, bam. He was talking about Chytil needing to play with a bigger helmet. Okay, I don't know if Trevor, if you can.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I'll try to pull it. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, Chytil needs a giant helmet, NFL style.
Yeah, and look, one of my favorite players is Romeo Dobbs, and I'm posting this photo on the YouTube side of things. Look at these new Guardian caps. I think that's what they call it in the NFL. They look like inflatable pillows on your helmet, and some people make fun of it and say it's not appealing for NFL fans. I'm sorry, and it looks kind of corny, but who cares? I'm there to watch athletes be healthy and play on the ice. I don't need them to quote unquote look aesthetically pleasing. I've watched a ton of hockey, and it's not like every single player is wearing these helmets. But I don't know. Do you see a time in the NHL where players are doing this as well? Right? They're wearing neck guards now. They wear the visors. Why not wear an airbag on your head? And
yeah,
for Chytil, he kind of I don't know. I wouldn't care if he wears an airbag on his head. Just stay healthy because he's a big part of this team. And I heard Sat talk about this, and it's a good point because I want Chytil to be at his best. I want him to be reckless. I'm not going to lie because I like the fact that he takes it coast to coast and he wants to score goals. And, I've been so bored of watching this team play offense for the last 20 months. I want to see him do that more. But, man, that is dangerous, right? That's dangerous for any player, but for Chytil for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Chytil only played 15 games with the Canucks last season. And I can think of a couple plays where he comes bulldozing into the offensive zone and almost gets his head taken off, right? So, To answer your question about Guardian caps, absolutely, I can see it coming into the NHL one day. I mean, like anything, there's going to be resistance, but honestly, helmets looked weird back in the day when guys started slapping them on in the 60s and 70s, and everyone got used to it. Everyone got used to visors. If they go the Guardian cap route, guys will get used to that as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I wonder what type of material, and maybe this is a good segue into Thatcher Demko, but with times changing, with artificial intelligence being smarter than human beings and being able to do more way quicker, I wonder if they can make protection for the Poppatius, Pepto-Bismol, Pepolitis, Poppatius injury thing that Demko had and protect that part of his body forever, because he's healthy. He's 100% healthy. He's happy. And I love the quote about him wanting to, be a leader in that locker room. And there was even an article written about him yesterday by Ian McIntyre, and the energy that he got from Thatcher Demko was, and again, I'll say this, the reason why he signed with the Canucks is because he got paid a lot too. Like, he got paid a ton of money. Like, that's a lot of security for a guy that gets injured a lot. That being said, he wants to prove to the NHL that Vancouver's that spot where you want to play and where you can win. So I can't wait to have one of the best players in hockey. And it's funny because we've been spending so much time demanding Elias Pettersson get back to form, but man, oh man, like, aren't you more confident in Demko than Pettersson, even though Demko's got one, right? Like, I'm so excited to see a happy and healthy Thatcher Demko lead the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, it's easy to be more confident in Demko, which is weird because the injuries, but I think the confidence just comes from the way they speak to the media, right?
Yep.
Elias Pettersson just, he's never going to be the most bubbly guy in the media. I mean, he'd do himself some favors if he was like Thomas Muller, just, biking around Vancouver, taking videos of how great the city is, wearing Terry Fox hoodies, that guy's already like probably one of the most, influential celebrities to, promote Vancouver. Pettersson would do himself favors if he was doing that, but
he was rocking an Every Child Matters t-shirt as well. Like, this guy's embracing Canada.
100%, man, 100%. So anyways, I mean, Pettersson not doing himself favors in the media. On the ice looked good. Demko looked good on the ice, and he's giving good answers to the media, just talking about how much he loves the leadership group, how he's feeling great, the confidence saying that if he plays his game, he's making the Olympic team. When, was he not one of like the 4 goalies named during the summer? So, I mean, yeah, this guy's brimming with confidence. He was, pretty much with the first, actual Canuck players to step on the ice today. The goalies did go on first for Group A. I think it's a round of applause from the fans, right? And he's out there stopping pucks and doing his thing. So, yeah, I mean, one thing I found interesting, you mentioned being, that big contract, which doesn't kick in until next season. As of right now, and other contracts might get signed among goalies, he's going to be the second highest paid goalie in the NHL next season, or tied for the second highest paid goalie. I was surprised when I saw that this morning. Andrei Vasilevsky will be the highest paid goaltender next year at $9.5 million, and then Demko's tied with Hellebuck, making $8.5. So again, second highest paid goalie in the NHL. He better live up to it, but I got confidence that he can do it.
Yeah. Let's just stick to the positives, because I remember when he signed that deal on July 1st, I guess. I was happy because I'm like, because I heard rumors that it would be like $6 million a year or something. Like, he's gonna take a pay cut because of his injury history, but boom, no, he gets paid market value or above market value, or like what he's worth. And we're gonna have to see if he can just be healthy, right? Because your biggest attribute sometimes as a star athlete is your health, like being in the lineup. Okay, all that being said, I know you touched on a little, but as a fan, not as a Big J journal with the microphone, relax a bit. How good did that feel to hear a guy that cocky, that confident about where he's going to be in a couple months? So like what he wants to do and how he wants to, I wouldn't say stick the middle finger to Team USA because he wants to represent them, but like that, as a Canucks fan, health aside, 100% you believe that he could live up to what he's trying to say to you. Like, he's going to be the best goalie in hockey if he's healthy and playing with Lankinen. Like, dude, again, as a Canucks fan, that makes you way more excited for success happening ASAP for, again, your Canucks.
100%, Kyle. And again, it's because Thatcher Demko has been an above average or an elite NHL goaltender throughout his entire career, right? It wasn't just the Vezina season. Like, even just looking at his stat log right now, save percentage, quality start percentage, all above average. Really, the only two crappy years were the Boudreau year, where the Canucks were allowing 5 alarm chances every 25 seconds. And last year when you played 23 games and was dealing with 3 different injuries, right? Aside from that, he's been one of the best goalies in the NHL. So yeah, you definitely have confidence in this guy. The question is always going to be about his body, but as a guy who in the past has been called a freak in terms of the way he trains and taking care of his body, you think he, at this stage of his career, would learn a thing or two about how to control and maintain things. Some things are out of your control, but I feel like Demko is going to put the people in place to put together the best plan for him to get him back to that Vezina level.
Man, oh man, Trevor Beggs, man, you and Demko. Here's the thing about Locked On Canucks, man. We had an emotional last 12 months. We had a lot of bright spots, a lot of low points. I remember me calling Elias Pettersson a fraud after he got, after it was public that he actually got frauded. Is that the right word? I know.
Yeah.
I was emotional and being, dude, I'm a Canucks fan, not a professional. Okay. It is what it is. But man, oh man, one thing that's always been high on this team, other than me and Trevor, it's your appreciation for Demko. Like that thing is like almost 10 years old. And again, Trevor, Team USA aside, his dreams aside, the fact that, and this has been the case prior to his contract extension, this was evident in 2024 when he was trying his hardest to get back in the lineup. Out of all the Canucks, I truly believe he bleeds the most blue and green. Now, that being said, this guy may bleed more. Who? Let's get to the comments. Calder Kid Petey, again, we had beef with Calder Kid Petey. We keep prefacing this because, we're just trying to show the world that you guys, we can all get together and love, one another and meet in the middle, okay? Calder Kid Petey saying Demko is going to rock and Lankinen is going to roll. Trevor, you need to step up your writing, man, because I've never heard you write anything like that for Daily Hive.
Are you reading all my articles, man? Come on.
I do.
No, you're right.
I love you,
thanks,
man.
Appreciate it, bro. Love you too. Yeah, that's I look, Patrick Allvin, it was interesting to hear him say that the Canucks have the best goalie tandem in the NHL, and I know there's some pushback there, but it's certainly top 5 in my opinion. Like, really, the only reason that it's not tops is you got good tandems with the Islanders, the Rangers, and there's questions about Demko's health, but they absolutely have the potential to be the top pairing in the NHL. Okay, Kyle, maybe we'll get to the top note in my notebook on the other side, answer some of your comments, read some of your comments as well. Again, you're listening to Locked On Canucks on the first day of training. All right, before we get back to the show, let's shout out our friends over at Monarch Money. Kyle, full-time podcaster, myself, full-time reporter. It's busy, and the big bucks might not be pouring in, but there's still bucks, man. We still got to manage it. And if we, a couple of bozos like ourselves can't manage it, you know who we can call? We can call Monarch Money, baby. Because Monarch Money is there for people with busy lives. If you've been putting off organizing your finances, Monarch is there for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, and get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNHL.
Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. I think there was a bit of an earthquake at the studio. That's when my webcam just stumbled here. It is what it is. Again, we're not professionals. We're just Canucks fans. And speaking of those Canucks fans, Trevor Beggs, again, at training camp, boom, bam, cool moment. And I don't know, how do you feel, man? Do you still feel like a Canucks fan, or we got to check up on you as Canucks fans? Like, I know that people want to know this too. Do you feel like a reporter, or do you feel like a Canucks fan today?
Well, I mean, you definitely feel like a reporter because you're in scrums and you're trying to bounce off of questions and figure out what to ask. And I got some funny quotes out of DeBrusk, very, very Daily Hive-esque about his Pokemon card habit. And he went on to say that, he's lost street cred among his teammates. Like, people are looking at him differently. He said to make it up, he's like buying people lunch and buying their coffee. And he's like starting to feel kind of shady. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, in general, like I'm a fan first, man. I just, it's funny. I went to Starbucks this morning and I ended up holding the door for Ryan Johnson and Todd Harvey. And I just said, no, nice to meet you. And then just said, have a great season. Right. So, because I want the Canucks to succeed, man. That's what I want. That's what you want.
I would have got Ryan Johnson to sign my chest. Still.
You want to see my chest? Maybe he did.
I think everyone's seen your chest, Trevor. This is Locked On Canucks. So speaking of which, let's get to the comments. Man, oh man, there's a lot of comments happening in the live chat. I guess somebody started it. People want Cole Sillinger to be a Canuck. I don't know if there's like rumors of him being available, but I guess this kind of connects to either Aatu Räty or Filip Chytil, and maybe we'll touch more on Aatu Räty after day 2 of camp when we have more knowledge about him and how he's looking this year. But Trevor, just to go back to Filip Chytil, like I am excited for him to just prove all of us wrong, and that also is including Adam Foote and Patrick Allvin. Like, and again, I think it was Don Taylor who brought up a good point. He's like, yo, imagine being traded for JT Miller and being so excited to finally have an opportunity in the top 6. Because again, Filip Chytil in the Rangers organization, middle 6 guy all the time, right? That guy comes to Vancouver. He's probably thinking, wow, I can finally be the second line center. And boom, bam, right away, when the season ends, Rutherford and Allvin are open about priority number 1, getting that second line guy. And, now we're in training camp, and it's pretty obvious that to the fan base, at least the media, the management group and the coaching staff is, they're just like middle 6 Filip Chytil. That's what it is. And I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know if they're doing this for like psychological reasons and trying to internally motivate him, but I feel like there's like a 51% chance, that's me being a Canucks fan, that he proves us all wrong.
No, 100%, man. And, we've been getting hyped about Filip Chytil here in the offseason. I have a theory, and it's that I don't think Canucks management wants to put too many expectations on the Filip Chytil and have him flop. Again, this is a guy who's never put up gaudy numbers in his career, but I did chat with Jay Fresh earlier this week. I mean, I didn't get the audio recorded because, not the smartest guy in the world. But Jay Fresh was pumping Filip Chytil's tires, like all the micro stats tracking in terms of scoring chance creation, zone entries. He was like double of any Canuck in terms of shots per 60. Like, he does everything right. The micro stats love him for a reason. He's a good fantasy stat guy. The reason that people are not believing he'd be a second line center is because A, he's never done it, and B, he's been injured a lot, right? But he's got the potential to do it. I think the eye test shows it. The analytics back it up. I really do believe Filip Chytil could have a breakout season for your Vancouver Canucks, even if, management and coaches aren't going out of their way to pump his tires.
Yeah, I believe in that too. And, Jay Fresh aside, I think the eye test proved to us that, there's something there. I trust athletes who want to make things happen on their own. I'm not calling this guy Daniel Sprong or a ball hog. I feel like there's actually, or a puck hog. That's me being a ball hockey player. But all in all, like there's something about Filip Chytil intrigues me a lot. And I want him to have more opportunities. So I'm not super excited right now to get Cole Sillinger or another second line center that's not named Mason McTavish, right? Like, I could care less. Like, give me more Filip Chytil, and I'm okay with that. And Trevor, I don't know, there's a chance, right? Like, whether it be with Jake DeBrusk or Evander Kane or Jonathan Lekkerimäki, like, that's more offense. And this team needs more offense. And Filip Chytil's an offensive guy. And I know we want everyone to be a two-way guy and whatnot, but again, we need more offense. And B, I guarantee Filip Chytil's a much better, more consistent defensive player than JT Miller. So, like, it's okay. It's okay to just, like, trust Filip Chytil for a bit.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. And just to comment on, shout out to all our commenters. I know Colin Whitehead was the original guy who brought up the Cole Sillinger thing. I'm not a huge fan of Cole Sillinger at all, to be honest. I mean, I know he's young. He's 22 years old, but I think he's got a career high of 33 points. Underlying metrics aren't great. He's starting to get buried on a Columbus team that's really building up a pipeline. Like, I would not be giving up a hefty package for Cole Sillinger. In terms of the ask, I think it's probably like, it could even be Willander straight up for Sillinger, to be completely honest.
Dude,
I wouldn't do it. But like, the ask is going to be high. Like, just because he's a center, he's big, he's young. It's going to be like a first round pick, or it's going to be a Willander. But like, I don't think they're getting crazy value for Cole Sillinger, because he's been in the NHL for 4 seasons and has not played all that great. Like, showed some promise as a teenager, but he's been kind of so-so the last couple of years. So I would not be trading assets for Cole Sillinger personally.
I think there's no chance they get a first round pick for Cole Sillinger. Like, based on his numbers and stuff, like, I know he's a center and he's big. Like, it's like he's a project. Like, you know how Sven Berchi gets traded for a second round pick way back in the day? Like, maybe it's something like that.
Yeah, it could be. That's a good example too.
That's the most I'm giving up for Cole Sillinger. Any more notes, Trevor? Again, boom bam, training camp, Begsy. I think that's her new name for the rest of the week. Yeah. What else? What else happened there?
All right, let's try to get to a couple other things here. I mean, Adam Foote mentioned today that Brock Boeser could kill penalties for the Vancouver Canucks. And that's something Boeser has never done in his NHL career. In his entire NHL career, he has spent a grand total of 16 minutes on the penalty kill, and that's mainly just hopping on the ice with a couple seconds left. I mean, I think the rationale is interesting, right? Like, Boeser, you don't have to be a speedy guy to be on the penalty kill. Like, Pius Suter wasn't a speedy guy. Boeser, I think, has got high hockey IQ. He's good at reading plays. He's probably underrated defensively. But can you guy be a first-line winger, a first-unit power play guy, and be a penalty killer? I have some hesitation about that. I also had a one-on-one with Vitaly Kravtsov. There'll be an article on that on Daily Hive tomorrow. I'm kind of curious to dig back into my recording there, but just an interesting guy. Like, didn't seem overly confident about making the team, which I thought was interesting. I'm kind of like, dude, you signed here after 2 years in Russia. Like, this is your last chance. Like, come on, be pumped up. And I asked him about, like, what do you have to do to make this team? And he was kind of like, I don't know. There's a lot of good guys on this team. I'm like, okay. So I found that kind of interesting, but so more on that tomorrow. I'll dig into that conversation.
Maybe he met a girl here. And then
apparently his girl. I was talking with the reporters after my chat with him, getting some background. Apparently his girlfriend went to UBC, so he actually knows the city of Vancouver.
How did I know, Trevor? Yeah. See, how did I know that, Trevor? This guy's willing to live in Abbotsford because Trevor, come on, you and I are romantic guys. You do a lot for true love, you know. This guy moved across the world to be back with his love. Fellas, take notes, man. Who cares about playing in the NHL, dude? You gotta do whatever it takes to hang out with your girl. Okay.
Fuck the NHL, man. Kravtsov's here for love. Maybe he'll make the team, but he wasn't. I wouldn't say he was brimming with confidence when I talked to him today, to be honest.
He's probably not happy to be in Penticton, man. He probably wants to
What's
be.
What's wrong with Penticton? It's nice here, man.
I'm just saying he wants to be at UBC.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
he was praying that the training camp was going to be at Thunderbird Stadium or whatever. I think that's what he thought was the case before he signed the contract.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
I would say just other quick notes. I thought Linus Karlsson added a step, like, as one of the slower guys to play for the Canucks last season. I thought Linus Karlsson looked fast up there, skating on a line with Kravtsov and Aatu Ratu. Aatu Ratu to me didn't look faster, but man, he looks like he's working his ass off every time he skates. Like, he's putting the effort in, but again, core injury in the offseason, couldn't train properly. So I think he was lacking a bit of speed there. And I think training camp, one of the other notes too is it's always the bubble guys that tend to, impact the most. When the bubble guys aren't tearing it up, I think that's a bit of a red flag. So, I mean, Karlsson looked really good today. A couple of defensemen, Derek Forbort and Pierre-Olivier Joseph, were like going bar down. Pierre-Olivier Joseph might have scored more than any other Canuck I saw out there today. So, I mean, that's again, training camp is silly season, man. And if you're believing training camp after day one, Pierre-Olivier Joseph, maybe he's a top 4 for your Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, no, I know it's silly season, but you just want to look at the little things. I said it earlier. I want Pettersson filling up everyone's water bottles. I want Pettersson doing 100 push-ups after every drill, and I want Demko to make most saves and not get hurt. And I want smiles, Trevor. Again, let's end the episode on that. Body language, energy rating, aura rating. Like, do you think the boys were happy to be there? You know what I'm saying? Like, you see a lot of laughs there. Can we just, like, I know we should just be sticking to the on ice product and we don't have to get all philosophical about this, but no, that matters. Like, does it feel like this is a team? I know there's 50, 70, 90 guys there, and it'll feel more like a team when it's a shorter bunch on the ice, but do you feel like there's some unity there?
I would love to tell you yes, absolutely, but I can't definitively say that. I mean, I'm hanging out behind the scenes. Guys are coming in and out. Like, Jake DeBrusk is laughing and he's all smiles. Marcus Pettersson, was pretty friendly with everyone too. Elias Pettersson was looked good and answered questions, but he seemed to be a little standoffish still. Look, I can't tell you that the vibes were off the charts there by any means. But I wouldn't say it was a bad first day of camp either. And, you know, you had a head coach and an assistant coach and Brett McLean out there running drills, yelling at guys, trying to get guys to skate their asses off. We'll see how the rest of camp plays out. And, you know, we got you covered here for all of that on Locked On Canucks.
Yeah, we'll get into more body language stuff tomorrow.
Body language.
But yeah, I gotta enjoy the sun, man. Everyone listening to this, especially Lefty. I've read all of Lefty's comments today. Trust me, I've been there, Lefty. You know, but Lefty, I always say this, tell this to the people, and I'm not getting political here, okay? Please don't take this, don't clip this and make it sound political, okay? But Lefty, if you always go left, you'll never be right, brother. So just, you know, let go of last year, man. This guy's calling Drew O'Connor a bust. Demko's not going to be healthy. Filip Chytil's a fourth line center.
Get some sunshine, man. Get some sunshine, Lefty.
Straight up, Lefty, go outside and stare right at the sun for 2 minutes straight. They tell you not to do that. I'm not a doctor, but sometimes you got to take that vitamin D straight to the dome.
Take that vitamin.
Open your mouth and look at the sun and just take that D in. Take the D. Eat the vitamin D. My name's Kyle Bowden, and I bring that message. Like button.
Hit the like button, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow after day 2 of training camp. And you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.